Good morning, students. In civics, we are learning about the central government. In the last class, we talked about the role of president in India, what are the qualifications needed, how we are electing our president, and what are the powers of the president. Now, recall your memory and try to answer these questions. Which is the supreme government in our country? The central government. Where did President reside? The President resides at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi. What is the minimum age to contest in President election? 35 years. Now we'll move into the other topics. First one, Vice President. Vice President, that is Assistant President. The Vice President occupies the second highest office in the country. That is, first one is our President, and second highest office is our Vice President. Article 63 of the Constitution provides for a Vice President of India. According to Article 63, we are electing our Vice President. Under this, first Vice President of India is Dr. Radhakrishnan. First Vice President Dr. Radhakrishnan. Now we have Mr. Venkaiah Naidu as the Vice President of India. Regarding the qualifications for the election of Vice President, it is same as the qualification of President. That is, he should be a citizen of India and he must completed the age of 35 years for contesting in President as well as for Vice President. The minimum age is 35 years and he must not hold any office for profit under any government. That is, he must not work anywhere and he should have the other qualification required to become a member of Rajya Sabha. These are the qualifications for the election of Vice President. Article 63(1), that is article, provides for the Vice President election. Like our President, Vice President is also elected by indirect election. Indirect, that is, people won't elect, but elected members, that is, the electoral college will elect our Vice President. The term of office for the Vice President is 5 years. So maximum term for all political setup is for 5 years. Whenever any problem arises, that is, suppose he died or due to some illness, if he is resigned his post, then suddenly they will elect another person as a Vice President. That is about the election and term of Vice President. Same way, when the Vice President may be removed from his office, suppose he is committing any mistake or problem in the Rajya Sabha, the Vice President may be removed from his office by a resolution passed from both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha by showing 1/3 of majority. So with that power, that is impeachment, through impeachment power, we can remove our Vice President also. Then now we'll move into what are the functions of the Vice President, that is, what are the duties. The Vice President is ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. That means ex officio chairman. He is a chairperson of Rajya Sabha. That is, under Rajya Sabha, he will sit in the main chair. He regulates the proceedings of the house. This house means under Rajya Sabha. He decides the order of the house. That is how the bills are passed. That orders are decided by our Vice President. He decides the admissibility of a resolution or a question. So with this permission only, everything will be decided under our Rajya Sabha. He suspends or adjourns the house in case of a grave disorder. So grave means suppose anything happen. Now think about our present situation due to COVID. Both our Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is not functioning. So that will be suspended by our Vice President. That is, these are the functions provided by our Vice President. Regarding Vice President, I will recall, he is the second highest office in the country and maximum term of office is 5 years and he is also elected elected indirectly, and through impeachment power we can remove our vice president. And regarding the function, he is ex officio chairperson. He regulates and he decides about everything in the Rajya Sabha. That is about our vice president. The next topic is about prime minister. Regarding prime minister, article 74(1) deals about our prime minister. There shall be a council of ministers with the prime minister as the head to aid and advise the president. After our president and vice president, the third role played by our prime minister. The post of Prime Minister of India has adopted the Westminster's model of constitutional democracy. So, democracy, you know it, people's government. We are electing our members. Westminster, that is the Parliament of England, is situated in Westminster. So, it is called as Westminster Parliament. That is, our Parliament just resembles the England's Parliament. The leader of the majority party in Lok Sabha is appointed by the president as the prime minister. That is, after the election, which political party got majority seats in Lok Sabha, among them they will select one as a prime minister, and he will be appointed as a prime minister by our president. So, prime minister is appointed by the president. Regarding our prime minister, the first prime minister of our country is Jawaharlal Nehru. The present prime minister, I think you know it. The prime minister will form the council of ministers for his assembly. After that, the president administered to the minister the oath of office and of secrecy. Oath of office and of secrecy. Secrecy, that is something very secret. Oath of office, in Tamil we say Padavi Pramanam, secrecy Ragasya Kapu Pramanam. The ministers are individually as well as collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. So, full responsibility of Lok Sabha is in the hands of the Council of Ministers. Now we'll move into the duties and functions of Prime Minister. Article 78 mentions the duties of Prime Minister. First one, the Prime Minister decides the rank of his ministers and distribute various departments. So for each minister, he will distribute duties for different departments of government. That is Education Department, Health Department, Railway Department, Home Ministry, Finance Minister, like that. The Prime Minister decides the dates and the agenda of the meeting of the cabinet which he presides. Under Lok Sabha, here Prime Minister will decide the dates and agenda, that is the purpose of the meeting will be decided by our Prime Minister. The Prime Minister informally consults 2 or 3 of his senior colleagues when he does not convene a cabinet meeting. So without conducting the cabinet meeting, he can get some consultation from the senior officers. The Prime Minister supervises the work of various ministers. The Prime Minister will look after and supervise the works done by different department ministers. To converse to the President all decisions of the Council of Ministers connecting to the government of the affairs of the Union and proposals for legislation. That is, the Prime Minister will decide all affairs relating to the Union government and they will make legislation for the approval of the President. The Prime Minister acts as a link between the President and the Council of Ministers. That is, he wants to connect, he wants to act as a bridge between the President and Council of Ministers, because the Council of Ministers will make certain decisions with the approval of our President, and this will be done with the help of our Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the leader of the nation and chief spokesperson of the country. Spokesperson, that is, he has the right to talk about India to the foreign people. Then, as the leader of the nation, the Prime Minister represents our nation at all international conferences. So, in all international conferences, that is between the world countries, Prime Minister alone have the right to talk about our nation. These are the duties and functions of our Prime Minister. The next one is Council of Ministers. After the elections, the President of India, on the advice of the Prime Minister, appoints the Council of Ministers. So we have three categories of the ministers. That is, first one, Cabinet Ministers, Ministers of State, Deputy Ministers. Three categories: Cabinet Ministers, Ministers of State, Deputy Ministers. The Cabinet Ministers is an informal body of senior ministers who form the nucleus of administration. That is, just now I told you, different departments are given under the cabinet minister. They will act nucleus, that is, separately they will make administration. See, for example, defense, finance, external affairs, home affairs, education, health, like that. Ministers of State. These ministers belong to the second category of ministers in the council. They are the ministers for the state relation. Then third one, deputy minister. They are the lowest ranked ministers in the cabinet. They will assist either the ministers of cabinet or the state minister. They are the deputy, they are the assistant ministers for them. That is about our prime minister, role of prime minister. Now we'll move into Parliament of India. Whether you saw our parliament building in any news. The Parliament is the legislative organ of the Union government, that is central government. The Parliament of India consists of three parts. They are President, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. President, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha, that is the Council of States. It is otherwise called as upper house of the parliament. Rajya Sabha, upper house. And Lok Sabha, it is the house of the people, and it is called as lower house of the parliament. It is termed as bicameral legislature. Bicameral, that is two houses. Bi means two. Two houses, that is parliament consists of two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. That's the meaning of bicameral legislature. Now we'll move into Rajya Sabha. Under this Rajya Sabha, the Council of State or Rajya Sabha consists of 250 members, out of whom 238 represent the states and union territories elected by the method of indirect election. So for Rajya Sabha, we are following indirect election, that is, people won't elect, but the elected members, they will elect our Rajya Sabha members, and 12 were nominated by our president, and based on the special knowledge or practical experience in the field of literature, science, sports, art and social services, 12 were nominated by the president. That is about the members of Rajya Sabha. Regarding the qualification, same first one, he should be a citizen of India and he should not be less than 30 years of age. For Rajya Sabha, minimum age is 30 years. He should not hold any office for profit under any government, and he should be a person with sound mind and monetarily solvent. Sound mind means basically a knowledgeable person, and monetary, that is money. So monetary, he want to be a solvent person, and he should not be the member of Lok Sabha or any other legislature. These are the qualifications needed for the membership for Rajya Sabha. The term of office for Rajya Sabha is 6 years. The term of office is 6 years. It is called as a permanent house and it cannot be dissolved. 1/3 of members of Rajya Sabha retire every 2 years and new members are elected to fill the seats thus vacated. So in that way we'll elect for our Rajya Sabha. The term is 6 years. So for all other office, the term of term is 5 years. For Rajya Sabha alone 6 years. Regarding the election, members of Rajya Sabha are elected by the elected members of State Legislative Assembly in accordance with the system of proportional representation. Under this indirect election, from the State Legislative Assembly, that is our elected MLAs of each state, will send the members for our Rajya Sabha. That is about Rajya Sabha. So under Rajya Sabha, here we talk about totally we have 250 members. Under that, 12 were nominated by the President. Regarding qualification, first citizen of India, minimum age is 30 years. He should not hold any other office. Sound mind and monetarily solvent. The term of office is 6 years. They are indirectly elected. That is about Rajya Sabha. Now we'll move into next one, Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha is the popular house of Indian Parliament and contains elected representatives of the people. So under direct election, we are selecting members for our Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha of today has 543 elected members. 543. Out of these, 530 members are elected from different states and 13 members from union territories. The President generally nominates 2 members belonging to Anglo-Indian community. So 2 are nominated from Anglo-Indian community for our Lok Sabha. Regarding the qualification for the members, first one, he should be the citizen of India. He should not less than 25 years of age. Note this age. For President it is 35 years. For Rajya Sabha it is 30 years. Here for Lok Sabha it is 25 years. He should have his name in electoral rolls in some parts of the country. That is, he must secure voters ID, electoral rolls. He should not hold any office of profit under union or state government. He should be mentally sound and economically solvent. Mentally sound, that is sound mind. That is basically highly qualified person, and economically, that is monetarily, money wise, he must be solvent. These are the qualifications for our Lok Sabha members. The term of office is 5 years from the date of its first session. For Lok Sabha, the term of office is 5 years. So under Lok Sabha, we are electing through direct election. So for this, we are electing, that is, the election commission will conduct the election. That is, the members of Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people of constituencies created on the basis of population. That is, in each state, in each district, we will create for constituencies. In Tamil it is called Togudi. Under this constituencies, we will elect our people. That is, we will elect our members for our Lok Sabha. See, for example, consider our Tirunelveli as a constituency, as well as we have Tenkasi as a constituency. Like that, we have different constituencies for our central government. The Election Commission of India arranges, supervises and conducts election to Lok Sabha. So under this Election Commission, we are following universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise. That is, while electing the members of Lok Sabha, all Indian citizens above 18 years of age who are registered as voters will vote for their representatives. So those who attain the age of 18 will have the right to vote. That's the meaning of universal adult franchise. The next one, functions of Lok Sabha. That is, the elected members, how they will do their work in Lok Sabha. Any bill can be introduced and passed in Lok Sabha, including money bill. So here bill means every resolution, that is every act will be passed through our Lok Sabha. It has the same power as Rajya Sabha to participate in case of impeachment of the president and judges of Supreme Court. So that is, impeachment power is very important under democracy. If the president Supreme Court judges, if they are committing any mistake, the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha members, that is the elected members, will apply this impeachment and they will remove the powers of President and Supreme Court judges. The Lok Sabha has equal power as Rajya Sabha in passing any bill of constitutional amendments. That is, while we are adding any new act in the constitution, the Lok Sabha will also participate in passing a bill. That is about the functions of our Lok Sabha. Regarding our Tamil Nadu, from Tamil Nadu we are sending 18 members for our Rajya Sabha and 39 members for Lok Sabha. That is Tamil Nadu. We are dividing Tamil Nadu into 39 constituencies. So 39 members we want to send for Lok Sabha. That is about Lok Sabha. So far in today's class we discussed about the role of Vice President, Prime Minister, functions of Prime Minister. Then we talk about two houses of Parliament, how they are elected and what are the qualification and what are the functions of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So you try to follow these lessons properly. You keep in touch with your books. Do your homework regularly, students, and regularly watch these videos and study well and prepare well for your public exam.